I realize that I've been talking about a lot of new gear here on the channel, and I want to talk to you about pumping your brakes before you buy any new gear, whether that's prep, SHTF, or EDC. And I think that upgrading your gear or just buying new gear too quickly can hinder your progress in figuring stuff out. Now, hear me out. It can also create some interesting financial positions for you as well. If you are always upgrading your gear, buying the new stuff, you're listening to us creators, then it doesn't really teach you how to problem solve. Okay, so let me just tell you, my very first piece of kit that I purchased for myself was an Ozark Trails knife that I got from Club Walmart. Now, I love that knife. I thought it was great, and I used it all the time for simple tasks, opening packages and cutting zip ties and just removing toys from their packages as well. And then I realized that there was just a few things that were holding me back when it came to that knife. First off, I could only carry tip down in my pocket. I didn't even know what that was when I first got it. It had this very annoying hook at the top that was designed to be a bottle cap lifter, which was extremely annoying. The thumb studs weren't that great, and it didn't even tell me what type of blade steel it was. Didn't know how to sharpen it. It was just very, very rough. But you know what it taught me? It taught me how to initially learn how to sharpen, a pull through sharpener, and eventually upgraded myself to where I'm using stones. It taught me how to figure out what's going to be the best technique for opening that bad boy up, because it is wrong way in my pocket itself. It taught me how to endure some scales that were clearly made of stainless steel, very slippery, and felt like at any moment I could just let that thing go flying out of my hand. Now, the Marine Corps issued me a Gerber Fast Tanto Auto S30V steel, made in America, big old beefy knife. It had a little bit of mixture of serrated edge with a straight edge Tanto. I loved it. It was great. I still have it. I'm talking in the past tense like I don't have it anymore. But the things I learned with that first knife, the problem solving, the sharpening, all those things were carried over to that knife, where I ran into a bunch of new issues, but I was able to solve those because I wasn't always just running out and getting the newest gear. How do I sharpen serrations? Am I allowed to carry a fully automatic knife in certain states? No, I'm not. The knife is incredibly too big for some of my pockets. So if I upgrade every time I saw a new video, it would hinder my progress learning how to actually move through different situations, knowing when I need to get something new. Another example would be for my survival kits. My very first survival kits that I made, 3-day, whether it be a go bag, a get home bag, bug out bag, whatever you want to call them, were DIY. DIY with stuff I learned how to do from the Marine Corps, DIY with stuff that I saw from other YouTubers, or I saw it on TV, or whatever the case may be. When I saw that stuff, it really showed me the medical kits that I like, the trauma kits that I like, the pieces of gauze that I enjoyed. I didn't even know I wanted to add a splinter kit here. I found the piece of tinder that worked best for me. This is all through DIY. But then I started realizing I could slowly buy pre-made kits, especially if it wasn't a critical kit. Then I started to visit stuff from like SE Survival, Rhino Ready, all those different companies that make those packaged kits like Life Gear. But it took me DIYing those kits at first to realize what I do and don't like in regards to different aspects of my gear. Teaching you to problem solve is the one thing that old kit can do versus new kit. New kit comes out the box, and sometimes it's just knocking shit out the park. It's just making things happen. You can't figure out why it's so good, or you can figure out why it's so good because you spend so much money on it. That's where I say it can put you in interesting financial positions as well if you're always upgrading gear. We all enjoy as YouTubers when you check out our videos, you give us a like, you give us a comment. Speaking of that, if you're getting good content out of this video, hit the like button. I would appreciate that. Consider subscribing to the channel as well. But we enjoy that because we're content creators, pumping this content out, putting the videos out. It can be a daunting task. And when you click the links in our descriptions, we get a little bit of kickback. It makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside. But I also want you to remember you can pump your brakes. You don't always need to buy the newest stuff. This is 2025. I don't know if you realize that. 2025 is the year of the level playing field. Last year, I said 2024 was the year of the budget. EDC knife just banging stuff out the park. CJRB putting out some hits. VV putting out some hits. This year is the year of the level playing field. It doesn't matter if you're an SHTF, if you're an EDC, a lot of gear, even cheap Chinese gear to made in America gear. They're almost all playing neck to neck when it comes to resolving tasks that you're trying to get rid of. Now, there's a difference between Nitro V and Magna Cut. There's a difference between Cordura versus Dyneema. I understand those things may be more durable, may be better suited for you. But when it comes to carrying your stuff in a bag and get it from A to B, you may not need Dyneema. You may be A-okay with a JanSport. When it comes to cutting zip ties, cutting, tissue paper, opening packages, you may not need Magna Cut. You may be just fine with 14C, 28 and blade steel. The point is, this is the year of the level playing field, and I urge you to pump the brakes, especially as all this new gear comes out. There's some bangers coming out. I'm about to put out a video on YouTuber design knives to get grandpa excited. When I put that video out, whether I'm shitting on a knife or I'm glazing a knife, I want you to remember that you probably don't need any of them. Shout out to Neves Knives, Tri-State EDC, Best Damn EDC, Jeremy Sires, Metal Complex, Excalibur. All these knives are coming out. They're looking real good. They're looking scrumptious. But I guarantee what's ever in your pocket right now is probably getting the job done just fine. Master the gear that you have before you embark on brand new gear, because I believe that what you have now is probably good enough. I even had to think about that when it comes to stuff from my man cave. I finally upgraded. Behind me, you see those two glowing lights, to a propane heater for my man cave. I have plenty of ventilation. I have an exhaust fan. I have fans that are pushing the propane out, making sure I have the correct amount of oxygen levels and stuff like that. If I would have upgraded to something like this, I don't know, even a year and a half ago, I probably wouldn't be using the gear correctly. I was stuck for the longest time using these space heaters that can only do 1500 watts, and they really, really sucked. Right now, where I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, it's 32 degrees. The temperature's doing nothing but going down. Here in the man cave, it's 68. Thank goodness for the propane. But my point is, I mastered the techniques. I figured out how to couple the space heater with some blankets and some hoodies and a Columbia puffy jacket, and learned how to figure out how to make the things work for me until they didn't anymore. I'm giving you a very small example, but that's how you can take the mindset into your EDC gear as well. You got a flashlight. It's doing what you need it to do now, illuminating the sidewalk while you take your dog on a walk. Every now and again, you might need to find something underneath the couch, making sure your wife doesn't bust her grape when you're walking through a movie theater. Great. But when you find out that that flashlight, that Streamlight Micro Stream, can't illuminate a true line at 100 yards away, you can't tell if that's a deer or a bobcat coming right near you, then maybe it's the time for you to upgrade. But should you just do it reflexively? Should you just do it because you saw the latest gear coming from someone like me? No, screw me. I mean, no, pause. Don't actually screw me. The point being is, don't worry about what we are trying to push. We're not all shills. We're not all trying to sell you something. Some of us are, but most of us aren't. We're trying to tell you our experiences with a piece of kit that we're excited about, whether we purchased it or it was given to us. We're also trying to give you overviews of kit that companies presented to us that you may want to look into. That doesn't mean you need all this shit. Okay, I'm wearing a Montana Knife Company hoodie as we speak. I love their fixed blades, but I also like stuff from Buck. I like stuff from Tor, and I like stuff from Gerber. And I really like me some Essie fixed blade knives. Could I get away with just using a very easy to go stakeout from Gerber and spend less than $100? Yeah. But do I enjoy carrying my Montana Knife Company Speed Goat? Yes. Comment down below, when do you make a decision to upgrade your gear? Is it when you see something reflexively, you buy it? Do you have gear acquisition syndrome or gas? Or do you have FOMO, fear of missing out, or a combination of both? I would love to know what your comments down below. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.